Welcome to the Bridal Shows Podcast, founded by Naomi Butler. Bridal Shows Inc has been America's complete one-stop, one-day wedding planning experience. And now, after 30 years in the bridal business, we're bringing that know-how to you. Each month, we'll be sitting down with expert exhibitors, veteran insiders, and wedding experts to give you the tools every bride-to-be needs to make your special day shine. And now, here's your host, to have and to hear, Ruthie Stivers.
Hey, welcome to our Bridal Show podcast. This is the second one now. We've been counting the days. We had a great start in January. We had two great bridal shows, one at Las Colinas, and these brides were so excited because they had just come out of the holiday season being newly engaged. So they had a lot of questions for our exhibitors. And then our big Dallas bridal show at the end of January was fabulous. We had, on the fashion show, we had some entertainment. Martin Lucas was there playing the keyboard and singing for our brides in the audience. Kleinfeld Bridal Party was there, showing off their new bridal party gowns. And of course, Vicki with Leanne's. Oh my gosh, her gowns are gorgeous. And she brought it. She brought the best out on our fashion show. So I'm sorry if you missed it. You can recap on the Facebook page. We have all kinds of footage from our fashion show there. So that's great for you. And then, of course, if you didn't make it, we've got shows galore this year. So just go to our website, bridalshowsinc.com, and you'll see all of our shows listed for the rest of the year. You got to come out, gals, because we can save you so much money, so much time. You can plan your whole wedding under one roof. And it's just amazing the deals you'll get with the exhibitors. This is when they bring out their big deals for the brides. So you'll get a great deal with each and every exhibitor there. And it's just fun. It's just a way to kind of breathe, have fun, bring your wedding party with you, bring your mom-in-law to be, and just enjoy the day. The one-day shows start at noon, so you have time to go to brunch before, and just enjoy the day. Let that day be your day. And really, grooms can come too. We let them in, and they do a great job with suggestions and talking to exhibitors. Maybe you can double team it. You know, one can be talking to an exhibitor while you're talking to an exhibitor. And I will warn you, you see and talk to so many people, you will need to make notes on those cards and brochures that you pick up in their booth. Just make a little note on the back if you really like somebody, star it and say why you like them, because when you review those cards and brochures at the end of the day, you might forget who you really like. So that's just one little tip I can give. Wear some comfortable shoes because you're going to be on your feet talking to exhibitors a lot. So wear some really comfortable shoes when you come out. So much has happened since we last talked to you, but we want you to know that we're here for your questions. Just let us know if you have any questions and need some ideas, and we'll put our exhibitors in touch with you. Today, we have some great tips for brides. We've got a couple of wonderful exhibitors. Actually, these are sponsors for our bridal shows. Cairo Makeup and Hair by Courtney and Details Dallas. And Rochelle's here today to talk about your floral. They have such great ideas and they're so creative and talented. So we want to go to them today. We have Sarah asking them some great questions. And this is going to save you guys time. So I hope you enjoy it. And really, don't panic. We're here for you. We can do it together. So brides, if you want that flawless, beautiful look on your wedding day, we have the gal for you. Celebrity makeup artist and owner of Cairo Hair and Makeup by Courtney Long. She's no stranger to a high-profile wedding. You can see some of her weddings in People magazine, as well as Dallas local publications. We love her to death. She's a sponsor of our big fashion show. She literally does everything for the fashion show. So all these beautiful models you see with the flawless makeup, she does. She's going to help our bride, Sarah, unpack everything you're going to need for your wedding day. So listen up. Sarah's going to ask her some very valuable questions. Here's Sarah, our bride, talking to Courtney Long.
It's every bride's dream to look so magical on their wedding day. And here to share with us is Cairo Makeup and Hair Courtney and her beautiful, beautiful model, Anna Gray. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Sarah. How are you?
So good to have you here. So
Thanks
tell us right off the bat, who do we have here? What are we wearing? Tell us all about the beautiful glam that we have going on here in studio.
Well, this is Anna Gray, and she is a very good friend of mine and a gorgeous model today. She's actually a former Sony recording artist. She's an amazing singer. You've probably heard her in the grocery store. I hear her voice all the time because she does tons of jingles all over the place. So
this is amazing.
I know, she's amazing. So
and she's gorgeous.
She is gorgeous, and she's so petite. Oh my gosh, if I could be that petite. This dress is actually from Leanne's Bridal. They were so nice, and we went over there last night. We did a fitting with Anna Gray. They gave her this gorgeous dress to wear today. I absolutely love it. So with the dress, I kind of wanted to go with the kind of an old Hollywood kind of glam. That's kind of my forte, kind of what I like to do.
Yes,
and
she looks so beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh, she's stunning. I mean, with these lights and the hair and the makeup and the dress.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. And I absolutely love the back. So what we did with Anna Gray's hair is we actually did what I call a hot set on her. And it's kind of a quick way to get that old Hollywood glam kind of hair. She's got really thick, curly hair. And so this is a great style for any girl that's got really heavy hair. We can do a hot set on it, and it's going to really last and hold all day long. Go ahead and turn your head just a little bit for me. The back gives you that deep kind of Veronica Lake kind of curl, that Jessica Rabbit, really, Hollywood glam look. So we absolutely love this style on her. And the curls have a lot of memory to them. So you can really run your fingers through it that night, after your wedding. The man can run his fingers through. And then the next day,
she's able to just last all day
and all
night.
Yep, she really can. So they're just gonna bounce right back. I mean, you can literally run a brush through them, and it's gonna bounce right back because they have a lot of memory from doing that hot set to it. And on her makeup, I did lots of lashes. I gave her kind of a more of a mauve-y kind of pop in the eye. Gave her lots of glow. We didn't do like a real heavy powder or anything because I really wanted it to be about her skin and to give her a nice glow. And just did a little pop of color on her lips. So.
You just look absolutely gorgeous. I know this is a very just timeless look. I think will really look so great in pictures. Are those some things to keep in mind when you're doing makeup?
Absolutely. That's one thing that I always tell my brides is I say, you want to look like yourself on your wedding day, but you just want to be that glammed up version of yourself. And you want to feel 100% on that day, but feel like yourself. You don't want to walk down that aisle and your groom go, who the heck is that? So you definitely still want to look like yourself. And I think that just what you said, that timeless beauty is really, really important. You don't want to look back at your pictures in 50 years and say, oh my gosh, why did I do that to my hair? So if you can do something that's very timeless, I do think this is a very timeless look. And that's probably why I love that old Hollywood glam so much, because you just can't go wrong with it. I mean, it looks good on the red carpet. It looks good in a wedding. And, all of our brides are red carpet ready. So
Courtney, she just looks so beautiful.
Thank you.
I know you have a beautiful story. Share with us your story, how you got started with your business.
Yeah. So I have actually been doing hair and makeup for about 22 years this year.
Congratulations, 22 years.
I can't believe that. I think that ages me just a little bit. But
not at all. You have experience.
I've been doing it a long time. I'm seasoned, like a seasoned singer, right? Okay, so 22
what you're doing.
Yeah, been doing it a long time. I started out really in production and photography and all of that. So
okay, this makes sense then.
Yeah, so my background is really in production. I did a lot. I lived in Los Angeles for a long time. I worked for Sony Pictures. I've done a lot of celebrity, had a lot of celebrity clientele. Tamira Mori Housley from The real.
She's my favorite.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. When did you, okay, give me a little snippet of that story.
Yeah. So Tamira and I were actually on a show called Strong Medicine together.
Wow.
And I ended up being her makeup artist, and I also did all the special effects on that show as well. So
How
it's really
amazing
fun.
is
Yeah.
that?
So I mean, I did crazy behind the scenes special effects, making hearts beat and all of that kind of stuff too. So we were on a medical television show, so we got a lot of that crazy stuff going on as well. But Tamira and I just became like the bestest friends, and we really connected because we're both Christians, and that was just something that really connected us in Hollywood together. And so we just became like the best of friends. And she's actually my daughter's godmother. And
so you really know her.
Yeah,
Oh my
we're
gosh.
very good friends.
She's your daughter's godmother.
She
I
is.
love that.
Yes,
Oh my gosh, that's
yes.
amazing.
Yeah, and she's the who you see is who you get. I mean, she really is an amazing person. And when I started my company, which is Cairo, is the first letters of Christ in Greek. So we are a Christian-based company.
I was going to ask you about the name. It's just so unique, and it just sounds so beautiful.
Thank you so much. So yes, when we started Cairo, I wanted to have something that would just kind of speak for who I was, and being in the wedding industry, I feel like it's a good name too. So Cairo, it is the first letters of Christ in Greek, and when I shared that with Tamira that I wanted to do that, her response was, well, I have to be the face of your company then. And I was blown away because, I mean, who does that, So she's been the face of my company since day one, and she's an amazing person, and I'm absolutely totally blessed to have her in my life and have her part of my company. And yeah, I love her.
And you're an amazing person. And
well, thank you.
Tell me more. Okay, so started the company. She's a part of it, as the face. So
yes.
What about the services and how you got started and where you are today?
So our services, we do specialize in airbrush. That's something that we've done since day one. And I guess I probably started airbrushing, oh my goodness, it's been about 15 years since I've actually been airbrushing.
And I'm a bride. I know nothing as a bride about airbrushing. Are we talking spray tan? Are we talking
We're talking like foundation. Your airbrush really is going to give you that flawless finish.
Okay.
It's going to basically erase everything. Okay? And then you're going to be able to start from scratch. It's like this blank canvas for me to work with. So that's what I love about the airbrush. But it also feels really good.
Okay.
It feels very light if you're getting it done right. You can get it done the wrong way.
Let's hear some horror stories.
So,
I've
of course, no horror stories from here.
Not here. No. But you've seen some like, oh, girl.
Oh, yes.
That's not how we do it.
I've definitely
Cairo.
seen, I've definitely seen some horror stories out there and been told a lot of horror stories. I've had other brides come to me and say, oh my gosh, I'm kind of scared because I was airbrushed at this other wedding and it looked very harsh, or it felt so heavy. It was too sticky.
So is there like a technique?
There's
a
definitely a technique to it, and it's all about how you use your hand. You're using an airbrush gun just like you would airbrushing, a t-shirt or something, or doing an airbrush tan. But we go very light with the face, so you're not doing a real heavy spray. But there is a technique to it, and I can't tell all my trade secrets, but I do something different than a lot of people, and I actually custom blend for my brides.
All right.
So
and
I can't.
Perfected.
It is perfected.
It's your secret sauce.
It's my secret sauce. It is definitely my secret sauce. And there's only Katie, who is like my right-hand woman, is pretty much the only one that knows my secret sauce.
I love it.
And it took her a really long time to find it out, but I mean, I had to eventually tell her.
Yes, because you're responsible for, and I'm sure with these different services that you have,
yes.
the bridal party, perhaps the mother of the bride,
yes, absolutely,
maybe the groom.
Oh, we've done it.
Grooms,
We've definitely done it. Yeah,
yes.
We've done it. I can tell you a story about a groom. Poor guy. I mean, he had gone and gotten a shave the morning of the wedding, and they cut his face up. Bless his heart.
No.
So, like, last minute, the bride comes to me, and she's like, oh my gosh, can you help my groom? And I was like, girl, I got this. We went in there, we airbrushed him, and he looked amazing and flawless.
Did.
We did it.
Save the
It was
day.
awesome.
I'm sure you have dozens of stories.
Oh my gosh.
Stories.
I do. I have a lot.
Okay, let's go back to your services. So it's starting your business and adding different packages.
Yes.
You'd share with me off camera here the red carpet package and all these different that are very appealing to brides.
Yes. So we have a couple of different packages. Well, we have several different packages to choose from. Anywhere from our price range kind of goes from around $450 to our largest package is $1,200, but it can go up from there just depending on how many services you really want. Now, our ultimate red carpet package, which is actually it's like our biggest seller, that package is really fun because we stay with the bride. We were talking, off camera earlier about the first look and stuff like that. So
let's get into the first look. And I know we're talking about pricing. I'm glad that you're very bold with your pricing and that you're sharing with us your pricing, because I know brides they're very budget conscious. So,
yes, absolutely.
The makeup that you're using and cost effectiveness and how to spread it amongst the brides and the bridal party. What goes into that?
Absolutely. Well, we use a lot of high-end products. We definitely do. I mean, we use anything from Lorac to Anastasia. We use all of the high-end stuff. And, people always ask me, like, what do you use? What do you love the most? Well, oh my gosh, I have so many different brands, that we use.
It's like trying to pick your favorite child.
It really is, because, I love makeup. That's my life, So when I go into a Sephora or something, I go nuts, But, anywhere from, ask me that question again. I'm sorry.
Just the services, and when you're talking about the makeup and the pricing,
yes.
I love that you're sharing with us the pricing, because I think that as brides are budget conscious and they're thinking about, what is the cost. I love that you shared with us, kind of what the overall pricing and your services and your packages and what goes into that.
Definitely. So back to that, with all of that being said, we do try to stay very budget friendly with our brides, even though we use the higher end things. We do still try to stay competitive. We did raise our prices last year, and but it hasn't affected us in a negative way. We've done really well with that. But for us to be able to use those higher end things, I always tell my brides, don't skimp on your makeup artist. Don't do that. You want to have somebody that really knows what they're doing, and a trial run is extremely important.
Okay, trial run. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, trial run is extremely important, and you do pay for it, and you want to pay for it. If somebody's doing a trial run for free, you probably don't want to go to that makeup artist, because they're probably somebody that's trying to break into the business, so you definitely want to pay, unless they're like a really good friend, or something, but, you definitely want to go to somebody who is charging a little bit more, and is charging for a trial run. That is very important. And it's a very rare occasion that we will even do a wedding without doing a trial run, because it's a really important time for us to get to know our brides.
Yes.
And I always tell my brides, I'm like, you and me, we're a team, okay? So I want to know what you love, what you don't love, and then I'm going to give you some advice, but we're really a team together. So that's what I want to build, that bond. It's all about communication. And even, yes, we're artists, but a lot of it goes with our personality as well, and so we want to get to know our bride and, do everything and try to meet every expectation that she has for her glam squad.
I love the idea of a trial run. I think it's a great idea. You can go out to date night or do your engagement pictures, or just to kind of know what that's going to feel like with the airbrushing and all those different services that you, and picking the right service for the right bride, right?
Absolutely. And a lot of our brides they use it for an engagement session. They use it for a bridal shower. They use it for a bachelorette party and bridal portrait as well. So, and we don't mind doing that. I know some artists out there don't like doing it, on the same day as a bridal portrait, but we don't mind, because I like to block a lot of time. And if we need to make changes and stuff before they go to do their photography, we make the changes right then and there, and they're ready to go. And, they kill two birds with one stone, and they don't have to, that helps them with their budget as well. So.
I love it, Courtney. Okay, share with us, because you're responsible for the fashion shows and the behind the scenes.
Yes.
All of those models. Tell me about it with the bridal show.
Let me tell you something about them models. No, I'm just kidding. I love my models. I absolutely love them. I have a great team of girls right now that I just adore, and we really have so much fun. Of course, it's all business backstage, but we have fun too. And that's what it's all about, right? So I guess this is, oh my gosh, I think this is my 4th year doing the runway.
It's amazing. And I've been a part of those.
Yes.
The energy is just electrifying, and those brides just look so beautiful, and you're watching them and you're like, I want to look just like them. How do I look like them, Courtney? You do these models of these brides, and to put the brides at ease, I think is just so important. I'm sure that
it is very important.
There's so much going on that day, and we had talked about the first look and your opinions of the first look, because who knows what happens, with that first look. Are they crying off their face at the moment? What is this feeling that you have for the first
Well,
look?
I think I told you, I kind of have a love-hate relationship
Let's get real,
with the first.
Courtney.
The reason I have a love-hate relationship with it is because I'm really traditional. And so a lot of times I'm like, don't do the first look. I want him to see you for the first time walking down the aisle, you know?
That just expression,
Yes,
that moment.
I love that. And that's, you know, I mean, it's kind of cliche to say, but that's who I'm looking at as the groom when they're walking down the aisle, you know. But we do have a package that includes that. It's our ultimate red carpet package where we actually stay and do touch-ups for our bride after her first look, because it's inevitable. They're going to cry, you know, when they see their groom for the first time. And, you know, I think it just gives them that little bit of extra confidence to know that we're there. We may not even have to really do that much of a touch-up because we are airbrushing. We're doing everything waterproof. Everything is going to stay in place perfectly all night. But to just have somebody there to kind of just pamper you a little bit and make you calm down after that first look.
One last thing you need to think about is being stressed about, you know, can I keep all this looking like this, right? The hair and the makeup on point. And that's what you do. So you are on site for the big day.
Yes.
Tell me about what that looks like. You run a show, so to speak.
Yes, absolutely. So we've actually, this year I've started like doing a little bit more of a timeline for our brides and kind of adding that into their packages where, you know, we kind of give them an actual timeline. Okay, tell us who all is getting your hair and makeup services. So not only are we doing the hair and makeup, we are actually putting together a timeline for them as well. So that's been a great help for us as artists because we kind of know what we're getting into before we get there. And it's really helpful for them and for their event planner, photographer. You know, we have to really talk. We do a lot of talking to our brides. So it's all about communication. We find out, are you doing a first look? Okay, if you're doing that first look, do we have travel time? You know, these are things that you really need to talk to your makeup artist about because it's very important. If you're getting ready in downtown Dallas and your wedding is in McKinney, I mean, we got to know, do you have travel time, you know, in between here and there? So that way we can get your timing down perfect. And I will say, in 22 years, I have never had a bride late for her wedding.
Yes, girl. Yes.
That's right.
Never be late for that wedding. And you're keeping that on time.
Yes, I'm like, you will be on time.
Well, speaking of time, how long does it take to do all of this?
Yeah,
all of this?
So we usually block for bridesmaids, we usually block 30 minutes for makeup and 30 minutes for hair.
That's
then it's quick.
You got it down.
And I mean, we're airbrushing. The airbrush is super quick. That's another great selling point on the airbrush is that how fast it is and the longevity of it. I mean, it's going to last all night long. Does
it last for the outdoors?
Oh, absolutely.
That Texas heat.
Yes, girl. That's what you have. I mean, that's why I'm like, if we live in Texas, it's humid. We have to have airbrush.
What are you
exactly.
thinking? No, Courtney's got your back.
I got your back. I got your back.
What about the hair? I mean, what do you do? Are you there like primping right
Heck
before
yeah.
she goes down the aisle?
Heck yeah. And we do.
In the forest?
Yes.
In the woods?
Yes. And that's what I was saying. Like, we do have that fancy ultimate red carpet package that really gives them that. And we can stay with them until they walk down the aisle. Now, you know, that package is a little bit more expensive, but I think that it's worth it to have somebody there with you, you know, to kind of pamper you the whole time. So.
Oh, Courtney, this has been so much fun. I don't want to end this segment, but anything that you want to leave our brides with?
Don't forget to get your trial run done. Don't be afraid to spend that little extra money on your makeup and hair because it is very important. You're going to be looking at these pictures for the rest of your life, and God bless you in your marriage.
Courtney with Cairo Makeup and Hair. How do we get a hold of you? What's your website and your social media channels?
So we are Cairo Makeup and Hair on Facebook, and then I think it's just Cairo Makeup on Instagram. I think somebody told me recently I need to like make sure those are the same, but you know, I'm different.
All your channels,
And then we are CairoWeddings.com.
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 My little jingle singer over here.
And please, let's leave today with you singing us something. Let's mic her real quick.
Let's mic her.
Something. This is impromptu.
Yeah.
This is
What are you gonna sing? Well, okay, so
something wedding-ish.
well, you need to sing something wedding-ish, but also you need to sing your jingle, the one that
Green sheet brings you buyers.
Green sheet brings you back. Isn't there like an echo in there?
Let's see. What's the
Something
love song?
bridal. Something bridal.
How about I Will Always Love You, Whitney?
There you go.
Just a little chorus.
make me
and
cry.
Yeah.
It's gonna make me cry.
I will always love you. I will always love you.
No one's ready to sing her with me, huh?
Okay.
So today, what we would love to do is for you to feel what you feel when you go to a wedding. You know, that feeling of the floral smell so good when you walk in. You know, everybody's brought it with their drapery and their beautiful props and everything for your wedding. And that's what we try to recreate at the bridal shows. So when you come in the bridal show, you'll see massive amounts of, you know, wedding floral drapes, beautiful couches, lounge areas, just like you would at your wedding. And that's what we hope to achieve. So it will give you ideas. And today, as we talk with Rochelle, Details Dallas, our resident bride, Sarah, will be asking her some great questions for you. One of the things that was really popular at the time, and it still is a trend, is the floral wall. And Rochelle could do beautifully with these walls. And she created one on the fashion show stage. It was beautiful. It gave a beautiful backdrop to all the wedding gowns that walked out at the fashion show. And she also has done an amazing bridal gown at the entrance of the show where you could get your picture made behind the gown. It was fabulous. She just is so creative.
Rochelle Ashman is the owner of Details Dallas, a floral design company that serves her clients here locally in the Metroplex. Welcome, Rochelle. We're so excited to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's going to be so much fun talking about lots of wedding flowers together.
Rochelle, you say that flowers bring the romance, and we are ready to fall in love with flowers with you today.
Absolutely. They totally bring the romance, the dreaminess, every little bit of that fun kind of feeling you want to have when attending any wedding or event.
When you started your company, you decided, I'm going to be a florist. I'm going to get out there. I'm going to serve brides. Tell me about that mindset that you had when you wanted to give back to brides.
So definitely giving back to brides is what we do at Details Dallas. We are a wedding and event company, so we really like to help you with your bouquets, your boutonnieres, your centerpieces, that really lavish altarpiece for your ceremony you've always been dreaming about. That's what we thrive in, and at our company, Details Dallas, we really want to make that dream happen for you.
So Rochelle, I'm a bride, and I know choosing a florist, there's so much to think about when it goes to choosing a florist and what the feeling is of your dream wedding. Tell me about what the mindset should be for brides to pick their florist to be there for that day.
So definitely, that's a critical point of choosing a vendor for your wedding flowers. So when you choose a vendor for your wedding flowers, you really need to be able to connect with them. You need to be able to trust them and also enjoy their style. So in that regard, I really recommend that you truly do your research. You need to use Instagram. You need to use websites such as The Knot to check reviews, see what past brides say about them, and then go meet them in person. Sit down with them, show them your Pinterest board, show them your hopes and dreams, and let them show to you their professionalism and what they can create for your wedding day, and work together on that.
So I know my Pinterest board is flooded with just so much inspiration, and we just want that dream wedding, that fairy tale wedding. Rochelle, can we make that happen? What goes into making
Absolutely.
that Pinterest board come to life?
And you have to. It's our job as a professional to take those hopes and dreams, to take maybe that color palette from this over-the-top installation, take the same color palette and do something that's a little bit more budget-friendly, something that will kind of still give that impact you're looking for, maybe in one area. Maybe we really just make your entrance to your wedding over the top, something that guests are just going to talk about as they enter, come and sign your guest book. They're like, holy moly, look what Sarah did here. You know, they're really going to kind of react to that for you.
Tell me about the color scheme. I know you mentioned the color palette. Do you want it to match the venue? Do you want it to match your dress? Does it have to be all matchy-matchy? What kind of goes into that decision?
So it definitely does not have to be all matchy-matchy. However, I do recommend that you keep your venue in mind when you choose a color palette. If your venue is a gorgeous Tuscan villa, you really want to kind of play off those palettes so that it sets the tone and nothing seems out of place. So my recommendation for brides is to pick your bridesmaid dress in accordance to something that will kind of fit within your venue. Then it's time to go see your florist. tell your florist your bridesmaid dress color, and then let them kind of help give you some color palette options that maybe you wouldn't have thought of on your own. You know, I do weddings every weekend, and for me, I see color palettes often, and sometimes just the smallest tweak, like taking a fuchsia into a burgundy blush, will kind of make that color palette over the top. You want to just stay away from just the whites and the darks. You want to make sure you have all those colors in between. That's what creates a full color palette, and a professional florist will help you do that.
Oh my gosh, I get so excited about the topic of flowers. So what about the season and just everything that goes into what you're choosing for that season, and the color scheme and the palette and everything that goes into play? Are there certain flowers that go in and out of season to keep in mind?
Absolutely. So seasonality is so important with flowers, especially if you're wanting something as specific as peonies. Those are in season only from May and June, and sometimes late November. So if you're really looking for those in the end of September, it's probably most likely not going to happen. So speaking with your florist, sometimes even before you choose a wedding date, may be beneficial to you if the flowers are everything to your vision for your wedding. Seasonality can help you keep your budget on track. If you trust your florist and you say, hey, I'm not really into a specific type of flower, give them the freedom to check what's in season at the farms. Flowers are imports, so you can't just walk out the door and pick them yourself. We have to pre-plan, and we have to book those plots early, so that way we have just what you want on your wedding day.
Oh, Rochelle, so I have to ask this question about seasons and allergies. I don't know if you've ever come across this. What happened? I mean, have you ever come across this where a bride is allergic to a certain kind of flower to steer away from, but she's desiring to have it on that day or the wedding party? Do you take that into consideration?
Absolutely, always. So if you have any type of allergies, make sure you let your florist know. But also consider your guests as well. It's very common to sometimes we're asked to take out any source of lilies or alstroemeria, something that may kind of invoke some kind of sense problems, give some people the sneezes, you know, all that kind of fun stuff that can come with a live imported product. So the best way to do that is to truly just think about it and speak with your florist if you don't want it to be an issue that you want on your mind. Say, hey, let's skip the lilies, and we'll kind of go from there.
So I know being a bride in the Metroplex, it's a little bit daunting to think about planning that wedding and wanting it to stand out. It feels like so much has been done or overdone.
Right.
What are some bridal trends that you would suggest, or how to make your wedding really pop and stand out from the other brides?
Absolutely. I feel like I get asked this question all the time.
Make it personal.
Yes.
Make it your own.
They want it to be something different, you know, and I was once a bride myself before. You know, you really want that special thing that is going to make your guests be like, man, she really did it up here, or gosh, this is just a once-in-a-lifetime thing that I'm so glad I'm here for, because in the end, you're trying to pay back to your guests who have supported you your whole life. So here's where we really kind of make it rock. So as a florist, my recommendation would be to invest in your moments. And what I mean by that is your moments of your wedding are right when you walk in, right when you enter. Your next moment would be into your ceremony, followed by your reception. So each little section needs its wow, you know? So for me, that would be something similar to flowers growing up a wall, or say in the ceremony, we need this big trellis so it kind of looks like we're in the midst of a garden. Or in your reception, we have a hanging floral installation over your head table. Those are the elements that take your event to the next level. Those are the elements that have your guests talking about your wedding for years and years and years and years to come.
Oh my gosh, I can just feel my wedding already. I'm so excited.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, so tell me about those big archways and the centerpieces and kind of those over-the-top moments. What are those called?
Those calls, so those are floral installations.
Installations.
And that's kind of a new term. It's something that's going around the floral industry right now. And that's where florists are skipping the vessels. And by vessels, I mean vases or an archway or something that would be traditional. They're taking moments to kind of put flowers where they weren't expected in the first place. So up a random pole at your venue, or outside underneath the gazebo when you walk in, or maybe you need a growing floral ceiling over your dance floor.
Woo.
So these are unexpected moments that is definitely a floral trend that's picking up amongst professional floral designers.
How do you do it, Rochelle?
Oh,
do you get ladders and
oh yeah, ladders, scaffolding. We have a large team that we bring in for each installation and each event. So it's really important to us to manage our time well on your event day, work with our planners as well as our awesome venue coordinators to make sure that we get the job done.
I'm sure you've seen it and done it all.
Oh, it's been so much fun, and we just look forward to even our upcoming brides this season. It's just going to be a great one.
So, Rochelle, here in closing, I know we just have a couple minutes. Let's talk about centerpieces. Do you see them all the same? Do you want a variety? What are some things to keep in mind? Because I know that you're seated, your guests are sitting down, they've got that time. I know I've heard of horror stories where you can't see Aunt Flo on the other side of
all
the
big... around. No, absolutely, and I think that that's super important to pay attention to is designing your reception to be what your family will feel comfortable with. So if it's that super ballroom downtown at the W and you want some tall, elevated pieces that give you that ballroom feel, very hydrangea, roses, loose peonies, dripping crystals, all that jazz, then I would say yes, go with some more tall. I would say tall candelabras for that vibe. But if you're going for more of like a romantic garden, ethereal, that kind of vibe, I would recommend going with low centerpieces that kind of have a loose organic feel to them. So it's kind of where the flowers are as they were in nature. They're growing out of the center of the centerpiece. It's very communication friendly. So you can see your friends across the table and make sure that it's a pleasant evening and well decorated also. I think that's a big topic to also talk to your photographer about because we're not alone here. So your wedding day is filled with many professionals that are real people and they have experience. So this is somewhere where I'd be like, oh, your photographers, Tyler and Lindsay, let's work with them. And I'm going to say, hey, do you have any ideas? Would you like to shoot all different pieces? Most likely they're going to say yes. They're going to love all the different heights and levels and that kind of thing to kind of add to their portfolio while shooting your wedding at the same time. So.
Oh, Rochelle, that's such a good thing to keep in mind. I never thought about talking to the photographer about the centerpieces and the florals.
It's so important to make sure that your vendors know each other as well. It's important that they kind of have a teamwork and a camaraderie going on. So that way, on that day, you can stay in the background and we truly do our job and handle it for you.
I love that. I love the idea of high-fiving the hallway. Like, yeah, we got
do
this.
it. It's absolutely real. We are friends in this industry, and that's a thing. We all know each other. We really do work closely together. So reach out, and if you need a recommendation for a vendor, you need to be able to trust your wedding vendors. You know, whether it's me, myself, many other talented florists in this Metroplex, work with them and let them show you what they can do for you.
Rochelle, so in closing, I know our brides are so inspired. I know I am. How do we get a hold of you? Through social media or email or website?
So the best way to get a hold of us is Instagram at Details Dallas Floral. So that way, if you want to chat with me, I run the Instagram myself. I have a business partner, Wendy. We've been best friends for a decade, and we just rock this together as well as our awesome team. If you want to be our bride, the best way to start out by doing that is head to www.detailsdallas.com, and from there fill out our contact form, and then we will kind of get started on checking flowers that are in season. We do all of our work up front, so from that moment we can send you on with pricing, sit down, chat about it, get excited together, become new friends. So that's the way to kind of get with us.
All right, Rochelle, thank you so much for sitting down with me today. So excited, and be sure to check out Details Dallas with Rochelle and Wendy.
Oh, thank you so much. Bye.
So we'd like to welcome today Zach Lewis, which he's usually behind the scenes here, but we would like to congratulate you. We know you recently became engaged, and we'd like to hear all about that story on the planning, the execution, the proposal. What happened?
Well, thanks, Ruthie. Thanks for having me on the show. Normally I'm back there behind the scenes, but here we are. And now I'm under the hot lights. You're right, they are hot. Yes, I got engaged to my girlfriend. We've been dating for a really long time. High school sweethearts, Ruthie.
Congratulations.
And thank you. After a whole lot of grief from my friends and family, I decided, you know what? What have I been waiting for? What has been taking so long? What's the deal? So I decided, hey, I think it's time to make things happen. I think it's time to, yeah. So I reached out. I started talking to a guy about getting a ring together, and right around then, one of Christine's two sisters got engaged.
Oh no.
I know. And people have told me you should have done it anyway. I'm like, you're right, But I didn't want that to be weird. I've heard enough stories of sisters and siblings and friends getting married at the same time, and that's a lot of stress in one family, and that's a lot. So I didn't want to do anything there. So the sister got married. We went to the wedding. It was a ton of fun. 2 months later, the other sister gets engaged.
no.
Yeah. So I once again decided maybe I shouldn't be that guy. I'll just hang out and I'll bide my time. But finally, the other sister gets engaged. She gets married. At the wedding, Christine gets the flowers. It was a whole thing. Everybody. It was actually.
How cool.
This is a story I shouldn't tell. But at the wedding, when they went to do the flower toss, Christine and her sister, who had totally worked this out, and the sister was all about it. Supposedly it was her idea. She, instead of throwing the flowers, handed them specificybody's to Christine in an act of force and aggression, as I saw it. But everybody's very excited to see my very red face when that happened. And anyway, so we finally get through wedding season. It's time to make things happen. And Christine tells me, hey, we're coming up on December. I got engaged at the end of January, just for a timeline here. We're coming up on December. I got you this cool thing for Christmas. It's a trip. I'm not going to tell you where it is, but we're going somewhere. So watch out. And I didn't know anything about it. But I had been working with a person to get a ring together, and I'd been asking friends and talking to people, hey, what do you think about this? And I went and talked to her parents, of course, and said, hey, how do you, yeah, because I feel like that's a thing you should do, right? And
That's awesome.
I'm new to this, you understand. I'm coming at this fresh. I finally got everything together. Christmas comes around. It's Disney. 6 days in Orlando, Disney World.
Oh my gosh.
Not the happiest place on earth. That's Disneyland, as a very kind security guard told me. It is the place where dreams come true, which is great for me. That worked out. But I wanted to do something around Christmas, and her brother told me, hey, you should do it on this cool trip.
Yes.
That'll be the best. She won't expect it. That'll be the one time she doesn't expect it.
Right.
Because she planned the whole trip. So we'd planned to do Disney. The first day we got there, we went and did Disney Springs, which is like an outdoor mall, essentially, that Disney has outside of the parks. And then following that, each park each day. I called up the good people at Disney World, who have a whole engagement hotline. Surprisingly hard to find.
Way.
It's true. Once you get through it and you listen to It's a Small World After All for 45 minutes on hold, they will put you on with somebody who's very kind, and they will work with you on whatever you want. They have packages, they've got ideas. These are people that's all they do is marriages and engagements and weddings at Disney. So I talked to a couple people there. They told me some ideas, but ultimately, my idea originally there, I wanted to do like a moonlit like boat ride over by the lake, and the fireworks
romantic.
go off at 8
Yes.
o'clock, and like I thought that'd be a great time. And it's the end of January, and the wonderful man on the phone, not to say he undersold me, but he told me, okay, you can't predict the weather. It's going to be dark because there's no lights on the lake. There's a lot of things that could go wrong here. Like it's Florida, things are testy. You should probably maybe plan for something a little bit more solid. He wanted me to do like a character. She loves Star Wars. She was like, have Chewbacca there.
Oh, that would be cool.
And then you go
Yeah.
down on one knee and pop the question. And I was like, I hear ya. What was his name? George. But I want something that's just a little bit more intimate. We're at Disney World, all right? The magic and wonder of Walt Disney. Like, I think that's enough. I think we should have something that's personal. Like, because we're going to be around so many people for 5 or 6 days. Let's have something that's a little bit more us. So he gave me some ideas. Ultimately, what I ended up doing is our first day there, because I wanted to knock it out early. A lot of people said, oh, you should do it last day. I was like, no, I want to do it early. I want to get it out of the way, and then we have the whole rest of the trip to enjoy ourselves. It's like a little pre-engagement honeymoon thing.
I like that,
I thought that'd be neat. So I went to Disney Springs the first day with her, and we walked around, and during the day, we were there all day. We had dinner planned that night. I just looked for some spots. I looked for some places that I thought, you know what, this might be a good place. This might be a good spot. And I ended up finding this one little kind of cove area. It's off this pier. There's a lake. There's all these paper lanterns that they light up at night, which is super sweet. And there's just this one like lone little street lamp light above it that like just perfectly lit it. And so after dinner, I said, hey, let's walk around and take some photos. tonight. That'll be a good thing to do. So we walked around, we kind of went around to the spot. I said, hey, I want to find somebody to take a photo of us, or a couple photos of us.
Right.
Of course, my brilliant plan, nobody is around this area. It was too secluded. That was the problem. That's where I went wrong. I went too far. But I managed to grab a very friendly cast member, as they call them in Disney, from a little restaurant next door. They came out and helped me out. I said, hey, I need somebody to come take a photo of us. I left her outside. They said, sure, let's grab somebody. This wonderful guy named John from Colombia, who was super nice. He came to help me out in a bit of an accent, and I told him, hey, do you mind taking a photo? He said, sure. I said, okay, one thing, not a photo. Planning on proposing to this woman I'm very much in love with. I'm hoping you can take a video. And he's like, okay, well, hold on. This is like, my heart's beating now. Like, that's, and I said, no, it'll be fine. It'll be good. Like, it'll be great. Like, all you gotta do is take a video. You know how to do that, right? And he was like, yeah, totally. Like, it's fine. So he comes out and he says, okay, we're taking pictures. And I had him, I went and stood up behind her one way and then did this and hugged her. And I had this whole thing that I wanted to say, but in the moment, I lost it all because I was too caught up in the bit. Yeah, and I was too, and so I dropped to one knee and got the ring out, and that was it.
Oh, I love that.
It was
I love
super
that story.
cool. Ruthie, there's so many places it could have gone wrong, so many points of failure.
But she was surprised.
She was very surprised.
And she did say yes.
She did say yes.
I
Wouldn't
bet
be on
she
the show if she
loved
said
it.
no. Imagine the twist. No. She loved it a lot. It was super
I
cool.
love that idea.
Yeah, and then immediately following that, and I don't know if this is like out of character or anything for engagements, but we sat down. There was a little bench and stuff right there, and it was night, and it was beautiful, beautiful weather. We sat down right there, and I told her the whole story about how I reached out to a guy and talking to a ring guy and what that was like, because I'd never done it before, and frankly, I'm terrible at keeping secrets. I'm a horrible liar, and it was really hard for me to keep a secret from her.
Yeah.
Because she's the most important person in my life. It was tough to be like, hey, here's this thing I'm doing that I'm not telling you about. So I was like, I gotta tell you the whole story about going to a ring guy, I'd never done that before, and working this out, and getting a ring through TSA. That was a whole deal. So like that's a whole
Without
thing.
her knowing
Without
about
her
it. That
knowing,
was
yeah,
the-
and
the
walking around
challenge.
with a ring box for a whole day and
Yes.
hugging, and her not noticing that at all. There was a whole sleight of hand to that. Yeah.
You pulled it off.
I did.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes.
And
it went
now
great.
I'm sure you have all kinds of questions
I do.
about what do you do from here.
Right.
Have you started the talks with the
Of course.
parents?
We have, yeah, and that's something I wanted to ask you about. Now that this is perfect setting for this, I can grill you on whatever I need. This is the perfect time. Yes, I we've had some. Not trouble with parents, but I knew going into getting married that it was going to be a whirlwind event. That
Sure.
like it's going to pick you up and take you away, and like you're going to have to keep up with things, and there's stuff all over the place. And I've listened to your show, and I've been working with your show, so I already know a little bit, and I know you have a lot of connections, and there's a lot of cool people that can help me out with this stuff. But really, my questions are primarily kind of organization based, just in a general sense. I'm not looking for like what's the best venue or where to get a good cake. I already know that. Or
Well, you have
where to get
picked
the
out your
best
date, right?
flowers, for the most part.
Okay.
But that's where this stuff starts, right? Budget, day, and venue. Those are
Okay.
like the first.
Well, I will tell you
Yeah.
that you really can't pick your specific date until you get your venue.
Mm-hmm.
The venues are so few and far between here in the Metroplex
Mm-hmm.
that you have to secure your date at the venue before you really come up with your wedding date.
Right.
But it's doable.
It's doable.
There are so many more venues popping up these days. So
We're looking to do something this year, which is a lot, but at the end of the year, December is what we're thinking, and not something
good.
that's Christmas themed per se, but like I don't know, winter. It's a season for getting together and friends and family like coming together, and like that seems like a really cool time. And it's
Beautiful
important.
time.
It's important to us,
Yes.
and like that seems like a really and we're a little ways out, but we're not 12 months out, which means for a lot of wedding planning services, it seems like we might be just a hair behind, because normally they say you should do it 12 months.
you'll
right?
do fine.
Thank you.
You'll do fine.
That means a lot, because I'm real nervous about it.
Well,
frankly.
the first advice I'm going to give you is you guys really need to talk to a wedding planner.
Mm-hmm.
A wedding planner can do so much for you. They can save you money. They can keep you at budget. They know people that they work with all the time. They have the connections. You don't.
Yeah.
They can give you all kinds of ideas and let you decide from those ideas. But And they can do the week of, the day of, or they can plan your whole, wedding.
Yeah.
So I would look for a really good wedding planner that you can trust, and go from there. And at that point, maybe it would be a good idea to sit down with the parents and make sure that they know you guys want to respect them as well as you want respect from them on your ideas.
I like that.
And make a list. Make a list of the things that you think you would like to be in control of. Make a list of things you think they would like to be in control of. It can be done.
Yeah.
And I will warn you that planning this wedding is like having another job. So you're taking on a lot. And if you would like to be involved, I think you should voice that opinion too. I see a lot more guys these days. I have besides being with Bridal Shows Inc, I have my own cake business. So we do wedding cakes. And all the time I see guys coming in and they're very vocal about the planning of the cake. And that's one thing they really enjoy is sitting down, tasting the cakes, but they enjoy designing the groom's cake and sometimes being a part of the design on the wedding cake also. So I think guys are really getting more involved and they love it. They can contribute a lot. So I think that's a great idea.
Thanks. Well, that leads into a couple other questions I had. One about the parents, because that's a big thing. It's a very important part of this. We've got a couple of different sets of parents here, right? And they all come from different walks of life, as anybody does. And everybody's got opinions and ideas about how things should go, and some of them kind of conflict. My parents think differently from her dad, from her mom, my dad. We're all over the place. Mm-hmm. So how do we get everybody on the same page? How do we say, hey, here's what we want to do, here's our plan, here's what we're doing going forward, and how do we get everybody to feel like, that feels okay, I don't feel like I've been left out in the cold because it's important to them. I want everybody to feel involved, everybody to feel respected. I don't want anybody to feel like they're not getting what they want. But most importantly, Christine and I, because it is our wedding.
Sure.
So how do we please everybody?
Well, again, you have to ask for that respect. Mm-hmm. And you have to give that respect back to them. So lay it out what your theme is going to be. You guys need to choose what you want at your wedding, basically. You just want input from your friends and family. Mm-hmm. So if you are planning on picking up a lot of that budget, then you need to let them know you want them to respect your decisions. And that's so big. If you can get that respect from each other, you've got it made.
And speaking of respect, I did want to ask about budget stuff because that's a tough conversation. How much are you willing to contribute to this wonderful moment in our life, if any? And there shouldn't be any obligation that you have to. You shouldn't feel like you're offering less than other parents, but what's the best way to broach that? Is that something I should go talk to my parents about individually? Should Christine and I go together? Should we call them on the phone or be in person?
Yeah,
what do
I
you
see
think?
what you mean.
Yeah.
Do you realize in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, the average wedding is anywhere from $27,000 to $30,000?
It's a little expensive. Yeah, sure.
Of course, you'll have bigger weddings, but that's just an average wedding here.
Yeah.
So it is a lot to deal with. It may be a good idea to go to them privately. Again, a wedding planner is going to help you so much with all these little decisions you're going to make. So I would reach out to someone right away that you can trust. But I would say privately would be the best way to go about that because, you don't want to air out everything everywhere. So maybe it would be a good idea to approach them privately.
Perfect. Just two more things. I wanted to know about how involved I should be as a groom. Because looking at the Knot, I think is the service we're using, one of the first things in their book, which I've been trying to read because not a big reader, honestly. Not a whole lot of pictures in that book. Is you should understand how involved the groom is going to be. Have that conversation early. Figure out if he is vital to the decision-making process, the things he wants to decide. It seems like the book is aimed towards the bride and the groom is just kind of back here, and I get that. I don't want Christine to feel like she's got to do this alone, but
Sure.
I don't want her to feel like I'm stepping on her decisions.
Sure. Make that clear.
How do you walk that line?
Make that clear and ask her what she would like help with, because like I said, it's like a second job, and she does need a lot of help. It would maybe be running around, picking up things, picking up samples, whatever, but you could be a big part of it. And I see guys being much more involved these days. You're contributing to the budget also, so I can see where you would want to make some decisions yourself. So maybe ask her to give you your own, personal list of things that you need to handle and you need to take care of.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for being our guest.
Thank you.
And good luck.
It'll work out.
Thank you. So, Sarah, we've learned so much today, but
So much today.
I'm having a blast.
Yes.
And you've got some great ideas here for your wedding and for your wedding party. Tell me what you have. This is so much fun.
Well, thanks, Ruthie. Here we are among a do-it-yourself. Now, I know it's been a blast being the resident bride here with Bridal Shows Inc. I have learned so much thanks to Bridal Shows Inc. I've attended so many shows. I'm wearing my Bride Vibes shirt,
Hey, there
which
you
is
go.
faded now because I've worn it so many times and I've had the opportunity to attend so many shows. And what I've learned is that those exhibitors truly, they care so much about planning your dream day.
Yes, they
and
do.
I know for me as a bride, I've really been kind of looking forward to, okay, I'm not going to be doing too much in the arts and crafts department. Let's leave it all to the experts, of course, with Bridal Shows Inc., which I've learned so much. But there is a little creative bug in me that I did want to do something fun and creative for my bridal party. So
Yes.
throughout this time and this journey of planning my dream wedding, I have been scouring Pinterest for little ideas. And of course, I've got my Pinterest board is just filled by now. But one thing that I did come across is how to propose to your bridal party. He popped the question. Now it's your turn, brides. So I have learned all about how to make bridal boxes, and this is just inspired from Pinterest. And here we are amongst kind of an arts and crafts. What do you think? Should we get crafty right now?
It just makes it so personal. And it makes them think that she really cares about me. To go to this much trouble? Yeah.
That's what I was hoping for. So what I found on Pinterest is there's so much inspiration there for the brides to be able to pick and choose what would be most personable for their bridal party. So what I did is just pinning throughout. I didn't get too overwhelmed in a way because you can even order them on Amazon if you are in a pinch and you want to make that moment special to ask them to, will you be in my bridal party? Some of them are, ask the I do crew, and there's just so many cute little, bride tribe. I know this says bride vibes on my shirt. But going through, it's just been so fun to kind of see what other brides have done.
Yeah.
And so here we are with some of these bridal boxes. So
I like it.
I asked them, last weekend we went to brunch, and so I asked my best girls to brunch so they knew something was up, because they know I've been planning my wedding, but there's been that anticipation factor.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
remember when you asked your bride tribe?
Yes.
What did you do?
Well, actually, we were all together.
You were all together.
Yes. Just like you, for lunch or brunch.
And that's so special. Did you talk about the special day and the anticipation?
Well, most of them actually were my sisters. So.
Well, fantastic. So they knew. They've already had your back throughout
Yeah.
their whole life.
I have 3 sisters, so they all chimed in.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So let's get into these bridal boxes. So what I did with mine was I put little pictures of us together.
I love that.
So this
Memories.
one shows off one of my girls is helping me get in shape. So we have been working out at 6 a.m., y'all, in the morning. And so those are kind of fun little moments that we've had
Love
together
that.
and even working out in the morning. So, as I was popping the question, I wrote them little letters and I personalized everything. I did order these off of Amazon, and it was a scratch here
So cute.
and then a very long little note. But then I got really, I can't imagine what the grooms go through, right? Asking, because I was like jittery and excited and nervous. And so, she starts to read it. I was like, here, let me just talk to you.
Oh, I love
I'm
that.
like, you mean so much to me. And we really had that moment. So though I had these bridal boxes and very personalized, I did want to have that moment with my girls, even though they were all together. They were all teary-eyed and excited.
So meaningful.
So meaningful.
Everything.
So
Yeah.
this one was a fun little ask. Was I started off with placing the card
cute.
in there. So as soon as they opened, voila, will you be my bridesmaid? Will you be my bride of honor? Was what these did. And I know I've seen them in different ways with how to ask. When I saw a fortune cookie, and you can get fortune cookies personalized.
Yeah.
With what you like, right? Isn't that
Yes.
so fun? And again, the excitement of a wedding, this really kicked off, my wedding with a special. So I also custom ordered Starbucks because that
Love
was to
that.
my personalized. Some of my bridesmaids do not like Starbucks. So one of them says sweet tea, but this is me in my day, right? So
Yeah.
everybody knows me, caffeine and Starbucks. So these are all little take and go tumblers.
That's adorable.
And they were all personalized that I ordered.
Really cute.
One of my bridesmaids had shown off hers, and she had actually brought with her for today so I could show. But they have these like personalized labels that you can put. Isn't that
love
fun?
That. That's
This one
amazing.
says Pop Clink, right? And little monograms and so on and so forth.
I love it.
And
So
then little jewelry boxes. One of my girls is, of course, wearing her necklace, but it says, I couldn't say I do without you by my side. And they all haven't taken them off. And it's really just this little gold jewelry piece. I've seen earrings and just more little
amazing.
surprises in there, little floral smelling candles and so on and so forth. And now, Ruthie, this has gotten me even more inspired
love.
to pop the question to my little flower girls. So I'm in the middle of building here some flower girl boxes. So what I'm excited about with this is it's going to be different from, maybe some champagne or coffee or so on and so
Right.
forth. We're going to do stickers. I found,
Cute.
their bridal boxes will be very floral. And then little toys for them. I'm trying to see where I put, little toys because they're very, very young. And so look at these little princesses.
Oh my gosh.
Because, you want to feel like a princess on your
How
special
old are your
day.
flower girls?
So one is turning 3, and she's just so sweet. The other 2 are 6 and 8.
Perfect.
And so I've got 3 of them
They
that I will be
will all love
asking.
these.
And
I
some
love
of them
it.
too, for my older girls, I've got My Little Ponies, and they have
Cute.
little nail polishes because I want to take them out to go get their
adorable.
nails done. And so it'll be a lot of fun.
What a
but
great idea, Sarah.
You love it?
I love it. So you know how the little girls are usually just forced in there, whether they want to be in the wedding at all.
Marching down the aisle, there's a lot of pressure
Yes,
there.
their moms just throw them in there. This will give them a way to anticipate the wedding, and they feel like they're special. They're not just thrown down the aisle. I think this is a great idea.
I hope so. I really want to get them excited. I want to, talk with them about my wedding. I'm going to include Caleb, my son, in my wedding. He's going to walk
love
me down the
that.
aisle, and I'm going to make him a little Brox too. And so he's been a part of the wedding planning process. But I think it is a really fun thought to get them a little bit involved.
Yes.
And do a little practice session maybe of walking down the aisle with their Barbies or whatever these little girls have, just to kind of talk through it. But again, for me as a bride, I'm not going to put too much pressure on my little girls and my son even on, whatever happens. If they are crying down the aisle, that's fine.
This is great.
Because we're all going to be crying. So
These are great ideas for their age. I love it.
Thanks, Ruthie.
I love
So
it. It gets
again,
everybody excited about your
think
wedding.
So I think it just adds that little creative element. But again, with Bridal Shows Inc., share with us just a little bit about, it's all about taking the stress away because there's so much anticipation for that big day.
Yes.
But when you're handpicking these exhibitors, do they talk about, the DIY bride and, don't worry about doing it yourself, girlfriend, because we've got your back.
Yes, because we all know you don't need more stress during your wedding.
Yes.
So, yes, that's what the exhibitors are there for, to help you get through that day. They don't want you to worry and stress over every little detail, and they can handle it for you.
And as a bride, you don't know what you don't know. There's so much that goes into the wedding planning process, little details that would
learn
get
a lot.
overlooked. So it has been such a fun show today. I loved having the opportunity to drill your experts with some questions that I had.
you.
They were fantastic. Cairo Makeup and Details Dallas. And
We're so excited to follow your wedding and your wedding planning, and I know you're going to be a gorgeous bride.
Thank you.
We can't wait.
Thank you.
And Sarah's always at our show, hanging around, so we love to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks for listening to Bridal Shows Podcast. Today's guests were just a small part of everything we do at our regional weekend bridal shows. To learn more or to find out where our next bridal show is, get your tickets at bridalshowsinc.com. To find out more about today's guests, visit their website or find them on Facebook. And to hear more about the Bridal Shows Podcast, subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite social media or podcast platform.